Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR365.com and podweather.com with an update on the tropics. It is August and we are getting closer and closer to the heart of hurricane season. And taking a look out there today, we've only had one depression, but could another be on the way? Well, we're watching the intertropical convergence zone, which is this area here, stemming most of the globe here off of Africa and then off of South America, Costa Rica, into the Pacific. And we're watching this tropical wave. It's still connected with the ITCZ, and it's not showing any sure signs of development, but some of the models are picking up on it, suggesting that this could become our first named storm, which, by the way, if named, would be Anna. And the general thinking is if this does develop and detach from the ITCZ, it would head up generally towards east of the islands, perhaps up out to sea, but again, it'd be too early. We'd have to wait and see on development. More waves leaving the coast of Africa as well that we're going to have to check up on. Looking a little bit closer in, here is that wave, and you can see there is some good moisture with it. That is the big problem now. We do have a lot of dry air that has really taken over the Atlantic basin. They're feeling it all the way to Florida as this dry air pushes westward, and that will not bode well for development of these waves unless they have good moisture with them, as this one appears to have. Now, as we take a look a little bit closer, there are the waves leaving Africa, and this one about to leave could be a problem. We're going to have to wait and see if it holds together more off screen over the landmass, but this is the one we're watching. You could already see it's got some curvature to it. Let's take a look at it right now on the visible colorized loop as it comes into sunlight here, and you can see there is a bit of a twist with it. And whenever you get these things kind of spinning, get a little bit of a safe harbor over the top of them, you always got to watch to see if we get something out of this. Right now nothing's imminent, but it is a persistent area that we're going to watch as it moves generally west, and that's going to be a feature that we continue to monitor. Now, the model guidance has been picking up on it a little bit. Here's the GFDL, or I'm sorry, the GFS model, and you can see it does take it and then jaunt it up north on a general track like this over the next few days. Now, if that were to continue, it would probably end up moving out to sea. However, with the Lesser Antilles right here, anything developing in August, something this close would definitely bear watching, and that's why we're going to keep an eye on it, because we do not know, if it does develop, just how strong it would get and where exactly it may go. Right now, though, the likelihood is not too strong if it does develop, and not directly impacting land. But again, there are certainly many things that have happened in the past that make you think, hey, got to keep an eye on everything. Now, as far as the sea surface temperatures, waters are very warm out there. The closer you get to the Gulf of Mexico and the Bahamas is where the waters really cook. If we get a hurricane under a good upper level environment with low wind shear later on this month or next month, we could definitely be talking about something big in the Gulf of Mexico, Northern Caribbean, or the Bahamas. So certainly anybody in this area should overlook their hurricane plan and make sure that they are prepared for whatever the season may bring. Again, it has been quiet thus far, but the year 2000 we had 14, 15 storms, and we didn't get our first storm until August 3rd. So we could still have plenty of storms, and even if we don't, it only takes one. Now, if we look at the upper level winds, you can see here's been the problem. We've had above normal shear moving across most of the Caribbean right into the Atlantic. When you have shear like this, anything that comes out of it might have this favorable low shear down here, but as soon as it comes up, it's going to get torn apart, and that's what may happen with this if it tries to develop. It may actually be able to develop pretty good up until it reaches that area, and you can see the shear tendencies are extremely high. And until this goes away, we're not going to see anything, at least not any type of hurricane, break through unless it falls apart and comes back later, which we've seen time and time again with storms in the past. Now, as we head out to the eastern Pacific, we do have Tropical Storm Enrique, and it is strengthening. It's 40 miles an hour and gusting to 50. It's moving west-northwest at 17, and the pressure is 1,004. It could try and get close to hurricane strength, but should generally remain weak and then start to dwindle, because the system to the west of it is much, much more likely to strengthen. That's Tropical Depression 80. This is likely to become Tropical Storm Felicia, and this would definitely be something to watch because this could become a hurricane. And once it bends back to the west, down the road, Hawaii may have to watch it. It's currently moving west-northwest at 12, slower than Enrique, and that will not bode well for Enrique, and I'll tell you why. Here's why. This is our developing Tropical Storm Felicia, and this is Enrique strengthening, but as they interact, Felicia's outflow here is going to shear Enrique. Now, unless Enrique pops to the north, then it might get out of the shear, but then it has to contend with cooler water. So even though looks may be deceiving, this system here has the much better chance of becoming the hurricane than Enrique off towards its east. Nevertheless, they're very close together. Sometimes we get what we call the Fujiwara effect, where one storm may go up and around and then the other may dance around it. Don't think that's going to happen with these, but it'd be interesting to see if it does. Now, as far as Hawaii is concerned in the eastern Pacific Ocean, the long-range models do show that we may have some action. This is the long-range GFS, and you can see it takes our system Felicia here, well, what could be Felicia, generally close to the state of Hawaii right here over the next few days. Enrique dissipates, and in the very long range, you can see it has a few storms, mainly this one, which would certainly be a large and intense storm. And anything out here in the middle of the Pacific, if it does end up threatening a landmass like Hawaii, it'd be serious. And if this is an El Nino year, as it appears to be, we tend to get these strong East and Central Pacific hurricanes. And so if we do have this a week or two down the line, and we have Hawaii here, and it's taking a track generally like this, high swells in the very least. So it's something we got to keep an eye on. Now, in the western Pacific, we also have activity. We have Tropical Storm Goni, and Goni has winds of 45 miles an hour. It should weaken as it comes on in here towards China, and it's moving northwestward at 6. But behind it, we have a system, Tropical Storm Morakot, and this is also at 45 miles an hour, but forecast to become a typhoon, hit some of these southern Japanese islands, and then slam into China by Friday night. So this could be a situation where we have a typhoon making landfall in a few days. And as we take a look at the satellite imagery, you can definitely see that this is going to be a large and dangerous typhoon, even if it doesn't get above Category 1. And there's Goni making landfall pretty soon along the China coastline. There is a weak tropical storm. Well, I'm Mike Naso from IPR365.com and podweather.com. I'll have the latest on the tropics next time. Stay tuned to IPR365.com.